the bail system, I think Chief Morera said it very well inside our symposium, is that the tools are there. They're just not applied and adhered to. And there's a multitude, and for me to go through the whole, set of recommendations would be very difficult. But for one thing is, the Charter of Rights is intended to protect all individuals. But in this case, we're seeing the emphasis on offenders, their ability to have, their rights protected exceeds the amount of harm they're doing. So, for example, reverse onus. There's a reverse onus for individuals that are completing very violent repeat offenses. We're asking for immediate application of that for individuals doing it. Right now, it's upon the Crown Attorney, the police officer, and the victim to say why the offender should stay in custody, which doesn't make any sense. And if you add to it where you've got an individual that has a propensity for repeat violent offenses, it's still on the shoulders of the victims, the families, the officer to explain that. What we're suggesting is that needs to be flipped around. And if you go as far as, what some of us say is eliminate the option for bail and certain offenses. Some of the, reasons why individuals leave and get back on the street is because somebody comes forward to say, I will take accountability and be the surety for an individual. I think in my 30 years, I have not seen one person who puts $10,000 down to say that Nish can come out and live with me, and they don't lose their money. And there's no accountability. So we're asking for changes on tools that already exist. But then we've gone as far as to suggest, the environment has changed. The type of offenses, home invasions we were just talking about, Chief Tanner was talking about when he started in policing, never would see a nighttime compromise of somebody's home in terms of vulnerability. Is there an appropriate offense that has been, we proposed a home invasion offense, which has language that has stronger penalties. So there's a multitude of changes, not just in the bail system, but on the legislative side. And maybe I've probably missed a bunch that maybe my team can top up from. There are other elements, back to the previous question about what, we have been advocating for change. Some of it is in the proposed legislation for C2, that we don't have the tools necessarily to prevent some of the harm from an investigative standpoint that would be effective for us. For example, if somebody is the victim of a home invasion or a robbery, maybe it's human trafficking, sexual assault, we need investigative tools that, all the other largest countries in the world have. For example, we have to wait 30, sometimes 60 days to get technical evidence to identify a perpetrator. So, for example, there could be a home invasion tonight. We may be able to, get a technical piece of evidence like a phone number, but we have to wait 30, 60 days. And every other country in the world, it's within minutes, if not hours, that they've got it. Just say to yourself, in that period of time, how much more harm is being caused to our communities? So it's not us, it's victims that are being harmed in that meanwhile. So that is another thing that we proposed federally. We're a strong advocate. We've been encouraging the current public safety minister to hopefully see that through in the fall justice bill. These are things that we, on the whole spectrum of suggestions, are very supportive of. Thank you. Very simply, there's never been a time where right across this country, the emphasis on public safety or the elimination of crime or harm has not been the number one discussion point for every level of government and probably every political party. So what I would say is the opportunity is now. There's full alignment, not just as municipal chiefs or municipal government, provincial and federal, for there to be alignment and work together to tighten this system. We had the opportunity of being in Ottawa last week and just one more time advocating to ensure that, there's really like one opportunity to make this happen in this next bill federally. And obviously at the provincial level, there's been some real strong emphasis. You can just listen to the Premier once and where his heart's at as it relates to law, order, and safety. But we need to see that materialize in the tools that are needed for us on a day-to-day basis. So the one thing we'd say to them is now's the opportunity. We don't want to be in this situation in the fall where we said it didn't go far enough, and here we are at it again for another decade or another X amount of years, not seeing the tools we needed. So now's the opportunity, and we'd rather people be working together.